Game of the weekend, obviously, we all know Man City visiting Anfield. Anfield was rocking today. I absolutely loved the NBC announcers got out of the way a couple of minutes before kickoff and just let the sound of the crowd singing "I'll Never Walk Alone" come through. It was brilliant. Every time that happens, the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, whether you're a Liverpool fan or not. It was brilliant to hear. Well done to the USA Network and NBC for letting that happen. Now, as soon as the game kicked off, the first 5 or 6 minutes, it was all Man City. They were going at it. And I thought, oh boy, this is going to be very interesting. This is a young Liverpool team. Mo Salah's on the bench. The backup goalkeeper's in. This is what's happening. But then, credit to Liverpool. Credit to the fans who I think picked that team up. They really came alive, and they really did grow into that game. And it didn't take them long. By about the 15 to 20-minute mark, I thought both teams were going hammer and tongs at each other, back and forth, end to end. Chances were happening. It was frantic soccer. That's what we wanted to see. I'm a neutral. You all know I'm an Aston Villa fan. I wanted to see a game today that, from a neutral's perspective, I was just going to be entertained. And I was entertained 100%. I do remember looking up at about the 80-minute mark and going, oh, man, shit, there's only 10 minutes left in this game. Can't we make it go on for a lot longer? If the game was still being played now, which is like 12 hours later, I'd probably be happy because it was such a well-played game. Robert, I know you're a Liverpool fan. From your perspective, you were nervous, though, right? You had to be because this was the biggest game of the season, pretty much.
Yeah, it was the biggest game of the season, and Klopp tried to downplay it like this isn't the title decider. Probably try to calm the nerves and way too much importance in it. But yes, in the pre-match build-up, I was just kind of feeling like appreciation, like this is probably the last league meeting, possible FA Cup future between these two managers, but last Premier League tilt. And just the way that the league is poised and their head-to-head matchups and their evolution of their rivalry between each other, and to see it come to like this last one game and it being such an important part of the season, I was just like feeling appreciative of where we're at as soccer lovers. But yes, as the game was getting going, I was nervous. I was like confident. I mean, both teams are playing at such a high level that it really could go either way. Mm-hmm. And it ended up being a draw, and there could have been numerous goals either way. And if it wasn't for quality defending, blocks, goalkeeper play, it could have been any more. And on top of it, I would say that it really was an illustration of the evolution of the rivalry, the extreme passing game of Pep Guardiola and the extreme pressing and counterattacks of the two managers has officially almost come near meeting each other.
Yes.
And the tactics are not so radically different anymore. And I was blown away to look at the statistics to see that Liverpool actually had more completed passes and possession in the game, which I don't know the exact history, but I knew, earlier on in the rivalry, it was Manchester City passing, 2 to 3-fold of any opponent.
Yes.
Liverpool included. And, that wasn't the case today.
You're right. And it was unbelievable to see a team outpass Man City. That doesn't happen. As you said, the game finished 1-1. Good goals on both sides. Could be the last time we ever see these two managers face off because, as we know, Jurgen Klopp at the end of the season is saying au revoir and leaving and going goodbye. But as you said, they could meet in the FA Cup. Semifinals of the FA Cup or the finals of the FA Cup. I think the scriptwriters of the FA Cup are going to find a way to have that happen. Wouldn't that be a hell of a swan song right there? Not only maybe up for the title, but also the FA Cup as well? Wow.
I mean, last week of the season, having those two guys go at it the last weekend, I mean, that would be just a ratings bonanza. And I'll be interested to see what the global ratings were for this game today. I'm sure they're astronomical.
Oh, astronomical. Huge numbers for this game. I know, as I said, neutral fan, had it on my calendar. Told the wife and kids, go, leave, go shopping, go have fun, go do movies, go whatever. Today, This is me and the TV watching the biggest game in the world right now. Now, let's talk about the goals. John Stones sneaks in there off a corner kick, a very well orchestrated corner kick. He admitted after the game in an interview that yes, they actually put that set piece play in yesterday. Akanji goes in, shifts McAllister out. We'll say blocks, moves, pushes, whatever you want to say. Moves McAllister out of the way, who's guarding that front post, creates that space that John Stones runs into and lightly puts the ball past Kelleher. A really nice, well orchestrated play. A great goal to make it 1-0 to Man City. Now, after that, Liverpool, I thought, some young kids in the team. Bradley Elliott's been in some big games, but still young. What's going to happen here? But they didn't put their head down. I think the crowd picked them up. They went at it. And from that point on, they were the better team. I was happy to see them get their goal, albeit from a penalty kick that Akanji put the ball back to Ederson slowly. You could see Darwin Núñez read it. You could see him. He read that ball that it was going to go there. He read Akanji like a book. And he beat Ederson to that ball, and 100% penalty. Stevie Wonder could have seen that was a penalty. Everybody in the world thought it was a penalty. No one argued. Ederson got hurt. McAllister puts that ball away very nicely. The penalty kick makes it 1-1. But from then on, I go, this is Liverpool's game. This is Liverpool's game to win. They got to win this. They were phenomenal.
Liverpool really did turn the screw as the game went on and got more and more chances. The XG favored Liverpool as well by a decent margin too, which just kind of indicates the amount of big chances that they created. But that being said, it could have gone the other way. Doku hit the base of the post there in the last 10, 15 minutes too. So it was, really a super high quality game. If I'm looking back through the game in my mind, I can only recall like 3 loose passes in the entire game. And I think Van Dijk got caught in the ball once, the mistake from Akanji.
Yep.
And there was one just kind of loopy cross that went, over everybody. And I can't recall any other real sloppy play for an entire 90 minutes. I was sitting alongside someone who's kind of new to it, and he was like, "This doesn't look like the games I've seen before."
That's funny. No, it was a very well-played game. I thought there was a purpose of everything everybody did, but it was played such at a high level and such a high pace as well. I watched interviews after the game with John Stones and Virgil van Dijk, and they both were asked the question, "Did you enjoy that game?" And they both said, no, not really. I haven't really had a chance to think about it. And the announcer, John Champion, looked back and said, "Well, I hate to tell you guys, but we enjoyed the heck out of it. Everybody in the world was entertained. That was a phenomenal game." But I guess when you're in the middle of playing, you don't really understand the gravity of the situation and get to really think about it. I think we were all expecting in the last 15 to 20 minutes for Erling Haaland to come alive because he was not really wrapped up, I would say, but just quiet. A very un-Haaland-like game, very quiet. Virgil van Dijk, for me, player of the game, because one, I think he really helped keep Erling Haaland quiet. But he controlled the back line and did a very nice job. I really thought Diaz played well, but unfortunately lacked a little quality in the finishing end. He worked his socks off. Just lacked that little nuance and finish and poise in the last little bit of the field where it counted. But man, just such a good game. I want games like that to be played every week, and that's the quality that we've come accustomed to. One from these two teams, but man, this is the Premiership in full lore. I mean, it's such a wonderful thing, isn't it?
Yeah, there was quality all over the field. The top players in the top positions, even though a lot of them are backups, they were playing at that level still.
Yeah.
Like Connor Bradley, you wouldn't know that was like, this is like maybe his 10th appearance for Liverpool. And he hesitated on one, but there was a while especially in the earlier part of the game, he was one of the more offensive threats for Liverpool down the right-hand side. And I'm actually surprised. We talked about Haaland kind of getting kept under wraps. I think Wataru Endo did well to pressure, like he wasn't getting just wide open lanes to receive the ball in. And then the two moments that I recall Haaland having where it was his moment, was the one-on-one with Van Dijk when Van Dijk was running ahead of him, and he kind of just got in his way enough to where Haaland's attempt was pretty tame.
Yep.
And then another cross that came in, and Haaland was going to prod it in with his meaty forehead at the back post, and Van Dijk was able to get his feet right to be able to get under it and head the ball away from Haaland and not in his own net, because those two moments go how they usually do when Van Dijk's not defending him, and Haaland maybe has a quiet game but has 2 goals.
Right.
And so those 2 moments of excellence prevented him from stepping or getting on the score sheet and making the game his. But the other person I want to say who kept quiet, who I was actually most worried about as a Liverpool fan going in, was Phil Foden.
Yes.
Because he was going against Joe Gomez, who is a great player in his own right, but playing out on that side against Foden, who is sharp as they come and in an incredible form. He diced him up a couple times, but it never went to anything. But you never saw that in like the critical crunch time moments at the end of the game. I didn't see Foden really doing it.
Foden seemed to disappear a little bit. I think he had some couple of flashes, like you said, but that wasn't a typical Phil Foden game. In the last couple of weeks, his form has been. I don't think you can find a better footballer in form in the world in the last 4 weeks. He has been scoring goals. He's been just dancing on the ball, creating goals. He has been the best player in the world in the last 3 to 4 weeks, in my opinion. Today, just a slightly under par game for him compared to the last several weeks. Just so.
If someone forced me to pick like a goal scoring wager, I was going to pick Foden.
That would have been. I mean, I probably would have followed that bet. I would have tailed it. Yeah, absolutely. I thought the Man City defense as well did a nice job on Darwin Núñez. Now, Darwin Núñez, in my opinion, doesn't get enough credit around the world. He, don't get me wrong, has had some misses, we'll say, some chances that, yep, my grandmother probably could have scored, but I don't think he gets enough credit for the amount of work he does and the positions he puts himself in. He did a very nice job on the penalty, right, winning that penalty kick. But besides that, in the first half, he had a chance or 2. I don't really remember much in the second half from him, though. He was quiet as well.
Yeah, he was subbed off, I think, around the 60th minute for Cody Gakpo.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I don't remember too many moments for Gakpo either.
Yeah, I think the Man City defense did a very nice job on both of them. Well done. I mean, that's what you kind of expect from those high-level defenders.
I thought that Salah was going to actually get the winner there, because there was a couple moments he had a couple shots in there, and I actually kind of thought that he might put a little bit of special dust on the end of the game.
You know, the funny thing is he took both those shots with his weak foot, and both of them just floated into Ortega's arms. And I was like, yeah, they know how to keep him on his right foot. Mm. And sure enough, he proved that, yeah, you got to let me go to my left because I'm not very good when I have to stick to my right. But you're right. I thought he's done it in the past. But what a great game overall. Again, I can't wait to see the final figures. It's going to be into the hundreds of millions. It has to be because the world was watching this game.
Yeah. I mean, it was the headlining game, globally for sure.
Yep. I do want to say a big thank you to some of our sponsors again. Thank you to Soccer World. Thank you to Next Level Training. Thank you to Thomas McGee's Sporting House. Thank you to the Michigan Jags. And thank you to Dr. Zach Atwood. We've got a lot more to come. Stick with us.